Okay, so we're going to talk about making fire today. If you're going to be in the outdoors, spend time outside, one of the things you need to know how to do is build a fire. Most of you guys probably are already pros at this, but I thought I'd just share a couple things that I've learned along the way. So, one of the things is you can do flint and steel and make a little duff and all kinds of things and work really hard at it, or you can plan ahead and make life a little bit easier. And so I have this product called Wet Fire, and I'm not endorsing this by any stretch, but we're going to look at 2 or 3 different kinds of fire starter. And this Wet Fire looks like a sugar cube. I'm going to light that up, hopefully, with a standard match. So, standard match. Maybe. Standard match doesn't want to work today. Alright, fantastic. So we're going to go to this improved match. This is some kind of safety match. Comes in this little container here. And inside of it, it brings its own little striker pad. These things are pretty cool, actually. It's got its own little piece of like emery cloth. I'm going to start this up. See, that match burns like crazy. Well, let's burn it. We're going to start that up. Okay, it's going. Right, here's another product that I bought on Amazon. These things, it's like a big waxy thing. And so you'd have to use something that we won't cheat. I'm going to use one of these matches here to get that thing going. Oh, he didn't like that. Oh, he's going. Alright, so we're going to let those 2 things go for a minute. I'm going to share a couple other cool little emergency things while those are going. We're just going to take a look at some different things. And so really what I'm trying to do here is just show that, you know, plan ahead, bring something to start a fire with. Sometimes it doesn't matter, but bring something good. This is another thing, and again, I'm not endorsing this, but these things are pretty cool too. It's like a big giant match on its own fire starter stuff. I'm just going to put that right. I'm going to cheat here. Well, they usually burn better than that, and I apologize. Tell you what, we're going to just do another one. The thing I like about these is how well they start. And it's in the wind right now. When it's not in the wind, it goes really well. Okay, it looks like it's going now. So those are 3 different products that you can buy at a store. Another product that you probably have in your own home, this is dryer lint. If you put dryer lint down, I'm going to try this match again. Well, we're going to cheat. Okay. Even a crummy match. Let's get it going. Even a crummy match on dryer lint gets going. So dryer lint's a really good duff, something to get something started with. And so any of those kinds of products is a good way to start a fire. So you can have some kindling, but this is a good starter for your fire. And so now we're going to look at actually starting a fire. And we're going to start one outside first, and then we're going to try starting one in the stove using basically the exact same principle. Okay, so the way I like to start an outdoor fire, and an easy way is I can put a couple logs on the side like this, and we're in the snow right now, so I put this down as a base, and then I'm going to put some kindling of some sort some kind of fire starter. And for this I'm going to use 2 or 3 different things just for fun. I'm going to use some dryer lint. I'm going to use that same wax looking thing that we had a minute ago, because those things, when they get going, they go a long time. And then I put firewood here in 3 little piles. And so I'm going to build a little teepee, and everybody has these cool looking teepees they do that fall down and stuff. This is something that is easy to do. I'm going to put that all the way back in the back. It's easy to do, and it'll last long enough to get a fire going. And then we're going to use the same kind of principle in a stove. And so I've started with some medium stuff here. I'd like to have smaller stuff, but this is what I cut for today. We're going to put that there. And then we're going to use our fire starter. Use this one here. I'm going to get that lint going. So now that I got that going outside, I'm going to put a couple things on here. And the wood that I've chose here, I've chosen some really dry wood. You want to get wet green wood. I always bring a little bit of wood with me, and so I don't, if it's raining or something, you don't have to go look for dry wood. So you can see that's already taken off. I'm going to add, right now I'm just going to add one medium-sized thing right there to catch that heat. And we'll just leave that alone. Okay, we're going to come back and look at that in a minute. So I think you can tell that got going really well. What'll happen is the stuff on the top, the ends will burn down, it'll fall down into the lower place, and then you can just add more wood to it. So using that exact same principle, we're going to light a fire in a stove. Okay, so here we are inside our stove, and it's light outside, so this is difficult to see. Put one log on the side. So we'll take a look inside the stove. You can see that I've got some dryer lint down there, got my little teepee thing going on. What I've done is I've put one of those fire starter things in there, and I got some lint there. I'm going to go ahead and start it up. Alright, put that to the dryer lint. There you go. One thing you want to make sure on a stove is this is the flue. You want to turn this that way so that the smoke can get out. I'm going to go back here and take a look, and it looks like our fire is already going. And while that's going, put some wood on top of it. And in a stove, the tricky thing is making sure you got enough air coming in. If you put too many things in there, it'll choke it out. And so I'm leaving the door open right now so we have a lot of air. See, the flue is open. That's going. There's our fire from earlier. This is starting to go pretty well. So it's as simple as that, using the same principles. Alright, a little bit later. So we got a nice fire going in there. Smoke coming out the chimney. One of the tools it's nice to have is, I call it a hoe. Put it out here where you can see it. This one has a clip in the middle of it so it comes apart and fits in the stove. And instead of getting a poker or something like that, you can pretty much do anything you want with this tool right here. So if you're going to only have one tool, that's probably the tool to have. Alright, you can see we still got the flue open there. Vents are open here, you can look in there. some coffee going. That's maybe the main reason you need to have fire. We're gonna look at a couple other interesting kind of survival things. This is a bunch of cardboard wrapped up just like this, put in there, and then wax put on top of it. I've never tried this. Buddy told me that that was the thing they used to do in Cub Scouts. Another guy showed me this one, and he thinks this is the best way to go. So this is just a can, roll of toilet paper. I know in these times of the COVID virus, that's a precious commodity. And what he would do is he would take and dump a bottle of heat, which is pretty much alcohol. He'd dump that right on top of the toilet paper and soak that in there. And light that up. And then, so what we're going to do is we're going to light both these things and just kind of see if one is better than the other. For sure, this is going to ignite right away, but I'm kind of curious to see how long this lasts and what kind of heat it puts out. So we're going to try that out and see what happens. So for the alcohol one, we're going to use one of these cool matches there. Now I kind of almost expected an explosion kind of thing, but looks like it's starting to burn. We're going to let that go for a little bit and see what happens. And on this other one, we're going to use one of those big matches we were looking at earlier, because I have a feeling that's going to take a while to get going. And I kind of hope it works. So I have my doubts about that, but we're going to see. And you can see that this one's starting to go. That's putting off some good heat, really. And what he said is, the guy that I talked to said he'd just take the lid, put the lid on it, smother it out, and you can use it again. But we're going to let that keep going. We're going to see what, oh, look at that, that is starting to work. All right, we'll check back in, check out the rest of this stuff and see how things are going. The fire's going nice. All right, we'll check back into this stuff here in a little bit. All right, it's been about 2 minutes. You can see that one's going pretty good. This one here, it's still putting out good heat, so there's a fire down there. Nice. And we haven't used that whole bottle yet. We'll put that in, we'll put the rest of it in a little bit and see what happens. But I'll say this candle looking thing, that's impressing me. All right, it's been about 7 minutes. You can see the candle looking thing is rocking, and it's putting out pretty good heat. That one's actually still putting out more heat, even though it doesn't look like it's burning very well. It's still putting out pretty good heat. We'll check back in on that in a little bit. Now, that one's still going. You can see that down in there. And the candle, it's still going, and I would say that this one with the alcohol in it is still burning a little hotter, but it's getting close right now. All right, it's been a half an hour now. One interesting thing you can see is that the candle is just burning on top, and so it's sitting on top of the snow, where the alcohol burner is melting down into the snow. Not that that necessarily matters. Next time I guess I'd put that on a board if I was in a survival situation. And that's putting out a lot of heat. It's still putting out more heat than that one is, so that's a half an hour later. What I'm going to do right now, just for fun, I'm going to add the rest of this alcohol in there. Let's see what happens there. Oop, kind of spooked me a little bit. All right, so we're a half an hour in now. We're going to come back and check on this in another 15 minutes maybe. Oh, see, that's burning good now. Just out of curiosity. Oh yeah, that's good heat there. That's putting out a substantial amount of heat there as well. We'll come back and look. Okay, it's been an hour. You can see that the alcohol burner is melted down into the snow. And it's still putting off some heat, but I'd say it's about spent. And the candle, it's not super hot, but it's still going. We're gonna